Well, earlier this month I did a project with Shrinky Dinks, and I noticed when I tried to cut it on my Silhouette Cameo, the Cameo was not powerful enough to cut it. However, on my Cricut Explorer, I was able to cut it very easily, and it got me to thinking, what other materials did this apply to? So I wanted to do a video to show you guys a comparison between the Silhouette Cameo and the Cricut Explorer, and just some materials that I saw that there was a huge difference. So for this comparison, if you've seen any of my other comparisons, I do a comparison between the Silhouette Cameo and the Explorer using brand new blades, brand new mats, and certain materials. For this demonstration, I'm going to be cutting a 1/2-inch box on both the Silhouette Studio Design Edition software and the Cricut Explorer Design Space. On the Cameo, I'm using a brand new blade. Now in the Silhouette Cameo, their only settings they have is all the way up to a 10 setting. They do not have a deep cut blade. So I'm not going to be able to use any deep cut blades or anything, so I'm just going to be setting it all the way to a level 10. They do, however, have a double cut, which I will be using for some of these materials. I'm also using a brand new mat because some of these materials are a little bit more rough, so we do want them to stick on there. Now for the Cricut Explorer, the Cricut Explorer does have a deep cut blade, which I'm going to be utilizing for this demonstration because it is available, and they do have a strong grip mat that I'm going to be using for the demonstration. Now on the Cricut Explorer, they have multiple pass, or all the way up to 7 times. So for some of the materials, I'm also going to be using that. Now for the actual materials I'm going to be cutting for you today, the first material we're going to be cutting is the very first thing that started this all, which is a Shrinky Dink material. If you guys are not familiar with Shrinky Dinks, it's something you can cut, then put in a toaster oven and it shrinks down. As you can see, it's not too thick. It's a little stiff, but I was surprised that the Silhouette Cameo could not cut this. But the Cricut Explorer was able to, no problem. So that's the first thing we're going to compare for you. The second thing is just a standard adhesive foam. So we're going to try cutting that and compare and see what we get. We're also going to cut a piece of balsa wood. So you can see kind of about the same thickness of as a tongue depressor that you might see at a dentist's office. And the last thing is, at Hobby Lobby you can find some pretty thin aluminum sheets. As you can see there, I believe on the container it tells you it is 0.005 thick 36 gauge aluminum sheets. So we're going to be cutting that as well on both machines to see how it cuts. Now on every single one, I've labeled each one with a C for Cricut, and then on the Silhouette Cameo I've labeled an S, so that way when it is finished we can compare the two to see how it is done. So I'm going to go ahead and power on both machines, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the Shrinky Dink first. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. So we have the Shrinky Dink material already loaded into our Silhouette Cameo. I'm going to go ahead and take my brand new blade that's currently at a 0 setting. I am going to change it all the way up to a 10. And this is the closest that Silhouette Cameo offers to a deep cut blade. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the carriage here, lock it down. Now over here on our machine we need to go into the cut settings. Once again, the closest they are going to have to a deep cut is to change my ratchet to a 10. I'm going to make sure the thickness is at 33, and I'm going to want to say double cut. There's a little box here, and that's going to go over the material double cut to give it the best chance to cut all the way through. I'm going to send it over to my Silhouette, and then let's see if it can cut through on the Shrinky Dink. let's take a look, see how it did. So, as you can see, it did etch the line around it, but it did not cut all the way through on that. So you would have to either break that off or take scissors to cut it all the way through. So, was not a success on the Silhouette Cameo. Let's head over to the Cricut Explorer now. Now on the Cricut Explorer, I do have the deep cut blade in already. I have it loaded. Over on the Cricut Explorer, what we have to do is we have to actually go in and tell the system our settings. That is by going into material settings here, and I made up Shrinky Dinks, and I went ahead and said I want it at full force, which is 340 points, and I wanted to cut it 3 times. I went ahead and saved that. And then I basically said I've called this Shrinky Dinks. I've made sure it's really good on my mat. I'm going to go ahead and hit go. Alright, and let's see how this did. And as you can see, it had no problem cutting right through that Shrinky Dink. Nice, clean lines. So, material test 1, Shrinky Dinks. Silhouette Cameo could not cut through. Cricut Explorer, perfect. So the only way I would be able to actually get my Silhouette Cameo to work is I would literally have to do this. So, yeah, that didn't work. But Cricut Explorer did. So, as you can see, Material 1, Silhouette did not work. Cricut Explorer 1. Alright, so let's go on to the next material, which is going to be foam sheets. The next thing we're going to compare cuts is on the Silhouette Cameo, we're going to do foam sheets. Now I use these foam sheets all the time. These are an adhesive back, and I have cut them on the Silhouette Cameo before, so I'm pretty confident this should work. I already have them loaded into the machine. I'm going to come over to my cut settings. I'm going to give it a fair shot. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and go to the most advanced settings that this can do, which is, I'm going to go all the way to a level 10. I'm going to go ahead and make sure it says thickness 33 and double cut, and I'm going to send this to my Silhouette. And let's go ahead and take a look and see how it does. So there it is. So it cut it. I think it cut it. I have to tear it a little bit, but it did, I mean, it did pretty good. You just have to tear it a little bit to get it off the edges here. So as you can see, especially on that edge there, you just have to kind of tear it a little bit, but it did cut it, and I think because it's the foam, you just easily can tear it away. So it's not the best cut, it's definitely not the cleanest cut, but because you're working with that foam, if you can see that edge there, you can see how I had to kind of just tear it away there, which I think the reason why it works is because it's foam and you can easily tear it away. So that's the Silhouette. Now let's go over to the Cricut Explorer. We already have our foam sheet in there. We already have the deep cut blade. So over on our settings here, we're going to go ahead and go into the material settings. Now they don't have something for foam, so we want to go ahead and go down here where it says material settings. So I'm going to go to material settings, and the closest I found was this canvas option. So I'm actually going to go ahead and select that canvas option. So it's on canvas, and all I have to do is hit go. And it's just going to do one pass on this. And let's see if it cut it. And there you have it. With one single pass. There you go. Cut the foam. I didn't have to rip anything off. Easy cut. So that is foam sheets for you. So the next thing we're going to cut to see how the silhouette compares to the Cricut Explorer is aluminum sheets. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Now these are aluminum sheets. They also have them in copper and gold at Hobby Lobby. I've never used them on the Cameo, but I was really excited to see if I could use them on this and the Explorer. So this is the first time I've tried them on either of the machines. So I went ahead and already put it into my Silhouette Cameo. I have my blade at a 10. Over on my machine, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I still have my thickness at the highest it can go to make sure it has a fighting chance. So let's make sure I am at a 10. I'm at a thickness of 33, which is at the highest thickness. I'm at a double cut, so we're going to send this to the silhouette. And let's see if it will cut through. And let's unload this. And it looks promising. It looks like it might have actually cut through. And nope, it just looks like it etched it. So it doesn't look like it's strong enough. It looks like it went through the kind of like it did on the Shrinky Dink. It went almost all the way through, just didn't go all the way through. Now, keep in mind I'm just using the standard Cameo blade that you can get through Silhouette America. So I know other people might have used third-party blades. They might do a better job, but this is just the blade that comes with Silhouette America. So that one did not go all the way through the metal. All right, let's go over to the Cricut Explorer. All right, we're going to go into the settings. I already have the metal in the Cricut Explorer. We just need to come over here and make sure our settings are correct. The Cricut Explorer already has a setting in here, and it's right here, and it says aluminum metal, 0.14 millimeters. So we're going to select that option. Once you've selected that option, the Smart Cut, Smart Dial will do everything else for you. All you have to do is hit your little Cricut head, and the machine will go to work doing everything else for you. Alright, let's see if it... And look at that. It cut just perfect. Whereas the Silhouette, I've already put it in the trash, was not able to cut it. So there is the Silhouette Cameo, there is the Cricut Explorer. So where the Cameo was just able to etch the aluminum, the Cricut Explorer was able to cut right through it with just 2 passes. So where Silhouette Cameo had 2 passes, so did the Cricut Explorer, cut through it just fine. So the last thing we're going to do a comparison on is Balsa Wood to see if either of the machines can cut it. So let's go and take a look at that. So the last thing we're going to compare is some Balsa Wood. And here is Balsa Wood already in there. Just like all my other comparisons, I already have this at a 10. And it is already in there. I'm going to go ahead and come over to my Designer Edition software. Make sure my cut settings are exactly where I still have them. So we're at a 10, thickness 33, double cut. I'm going to go ahead and send this to the Silhouette. And I can already tell it does not like that at all. It moved the mat, the rollers, got it skewed, and it was not a happy little machine. So as you can see here, I don't know if you can see that, but it just split the wood, didn't even cut it. It just is not good. So definitely was not a successful cut. Alright, so let's head over to the Cricut Explorer. I don't have high hopes for this then, I guess, because if it split that, I'm assuming it will split the same thing over here. I'm going to try, there is no setting for Balsa Wood on this. There's chip wood. Let me try chip wood. Let's try that first. And let me go ahead and hit go. Oops. Wow. It actually cut it. Look at that. There you guys are. The Cricut Explorer can cut balsa wood. I broke it coming up, but nice, clean, cut lines. That's really impressive. So as you can see the comparison here, here is your Silhouette Cameo. There's your Cricut Explorer on the top. Silhouette Cameo didn't even come close to cutting through. It actually broke your wood. It moved in the machine. Cricut Explorer on the top there did a beautiful job, had complete control the whole time, and cut right through it. Nice clean lines. So very, very impressive. Out of all 4 of my materials, the Cricut Explorer cut every single one of them, where the Silhouette Cameo was only able to cut 1 of them. So pretty good comparison in my eyes. So there you go. So everyone, I think the results speak for themselves. I am pretty impressed by this machine and the materials it can cut. As you guys all know, about a year ago I switched from the Cricut world over to the Silhouette Cameo, and when I did my first comparison video I was very timid about the Explorer, and I did my first comparison with the speed and the intricate cuts, and I was impressed. And every time I use the Explorer, I've become more and more impressed with the ability and the functionality of this machine. And this test just reiterates the amazing things this machine can do. This machine is very powerful, and this demonstration just shows how much time and how much research went into this machine. The fact that it is able to cut the shrinky dinks, the foam, the metal, and the balsa wood, and these clean cuts in all of these porous materials is just amazing. The only one of these that the Silhouette Cameo was able to cut was this. Now, I already know most of you are going to leave me comments saying if I manipulated the Cameo and tried third-party blades, or get roll-in blades, or go to eBay and get other blades and different things, that I could probably get it to work. My point is the fact that the Cricut Explorer, with the blade that they sent you and the Cut Smart Dial technology, was enough to make this test work. I wasn't, I didn't have to go out and manipulate anything to have this machine do what it said it was going to do. And that is the part that amazes me, is I didn't have to do a lot of research to get this machine to work. The machine is smart enough to make it work. So I highly encourage you, go to Hobby Lobby, go to Michael's, find some materials that you don't think that this machine will cut, and try it. You'll be surprised. I was really surprised to see that it could cut the balsa wood, and I was really, really surprised to see it would cut the metal. So I was very surprised about all of it. So thanks for watching, guys. I love doing these comparison videos. I hope to do a lot more comparison videos around materials. If you want to see a certain material to see if it will cut on the Explorer versus Silhouette Cameo, please let me know. Make sure you're following my blog at www.creativeken.blogspot.com, where you will see all of my current projects with both these machines. Make sure you're following my YouTube page by subscribing to me. Make sure you like, comment, and share my page as much as possible. And make sure to check out all of these great internet pages where you'll see everything Ken's Creations all over the internet. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to go out there and create something magical. Thanks for watching.